Welcome to Jar of Genius. I'm your host, Russ Perry, and this is a podcast where we dive into the business of creativity. Each episode, I'll explore the minds and stories of innovative leaders and companies who have paved the way and are shaping the future for creative businesses around the world. From groundbreaking business models to extraordinary creative campaigns and the innovations of technology we use and will use ahead, I'm excited to help you not only run a creative business, but thrive in this ever-changing and always challenging landscape. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Jar of Genius. My name is Russ Perry. I am the host and sometimes just curious guys. We talk to amazing people inside of everything that's creative. Today, I am actually with someone who she doesn't even know how important she is to my life. And I'm going to blow her mind because she literally doesn't know what the reason is that I'm so excited to talk to her.
I'm curious.
But after that, we're going to get into crazy career, winning Marketer of the Year, so many awards on her bio. I can't even keep track of it. And that is Ivonne Kinser, who's here today. Yvonne, thank you so much for being here. What is your current title? Like, you've done so many things over the last decade plus of marketing and leadership. What's the title you identify with right now? Who are you today?
Yeah. Hi. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. Second of all, I have to say that none of these questions, I got them before. So this is going to be super fun because I have to cut every question on the fly and see what I can come up with. That was the first question. Actually, it's a fun question. It's hard because at this point, who I am, what's my title? I'm a marketer. I like to say that I'm a marketing artist just because I'm creative and I use my creativity to solve marketing problems. But I also want to say that I am Ivonne Kinser, owner of my time, owner of my freedom, and helper of companies that want to solve hard, difficult business problems with marketing.
I love it. Okay, so here we go. This is the big moment. This is the big reveal. It's like we're on a talk show and I'm about to surprise you with something that you don't even know is coming. So I want you to rewind to 2011. 2011, you were talking to a gentleman, Federico Soto Roland.
I know who you are.
And you two were thinking about maybe doing a partnership, but you decided to go get a really awesome job at an agency. I'm trying to see here. I think it was Richard's group, Richard Norma.
Look at you. I should have done that partnership.
and because of that, Federico, so for everyone listening, Federico was my former business partner out of Buenos Aires, and him and I connected after this, but I was apparently his second choice. You were his first choice. And you turned him down. He said, no, I'm going to go take this agency job. He kept looking. And then him and I met. We worked together for about 3 years with a partnership with his agency in Argentina. I sucked at running a business. It totally failed. And I had no idea what I was doing. But after that, I learned all about international creatives, process of design, how amazing the world is with talent. And that's what started Design Pickle. So really, everyone listening, without Yvonne, there is no Design Pickle. So you were responsible for this. Yeah.
I love it. I mean, of course I knew your name, but it had been so long. What, like 14 years or something? And
yeah. I WhatsApp Federico today. I was like, I know Yvonne, but remind me why I know Yvonne. I know she's connected to you somehow. And he actually he reminded me of the story this morning before our interview.
Oh my gosh. Don't you love this beautiful connected industry of
It's amazing.
It's amazing that everything, what goes around comes around. Of course, I mean, I knew your name. So familiar with how many people have the same name. But now that you tell me, of course, I mean, all the pieces of the puzzle came. I mean, what a bad decision I made. I should have taken the other route, right? And I will be part of Design Pickle now, maybe.
Well, so look, we have just a limited amount of time, and quite literally, you are probably the most awarded guest we've had. You've been in marketing and leadership roles, innovating for so long, but I want to also acknowledge you were the first food marketer we've ever had on this podcast. I talk to food marketers all the time, every day, but I haven't invited any of them to the podcast. You led national award-winning campaigns for avocados. And I want to just go back to a point in time in your life where you were making the decision to take on this project and take on this role, marketing something that I don't even think many people like think about requires marketing. Like you don't think about stuff like goods and products like that, there's people and ideas and innovation and stuff behind it. But like where were you when you first thought about or were gonna like, should I go down this path? Like take us back to that moment because it seems
Yeah.
so crazy and random.
You made me remember a story that I have completely forgotten, or an angle of that story. And it just popped up when you start talking about that. So I was at another company. I was at Hager Clothing, but I was looking for a change. Coincidentally, the recruiter for Avocado from Mexico reached out to me, and she invited me to go and interview for this small company that was just newly created, and they were looking for someone to come and build the digital capability from the ground up and all that. And then I was like, that was before the first Super Bowl, right? And I was like,
Mhm.
what do you say the name of the company? And then she said, Avocados from Mexico. And my question was that? And then she explained it to me, avocados, you eat avocados. So interestingly enough, I was also, and then I started the process, but which went by super quick. But at that point, I was also in conversations with a telecommunication company. And then, as you know, that interview process was advancing as well. And I remember me wondering, do I want to go with telecommunication technology or avocado? And then in my mind, in my like ignorance at that point for what was about to happen in Avocado from Mexico, I thought, how much can you do with an avocado? I make
Yeah.
better off in the telecommunication company. However, I really connected with the CEO when we have the first conversation. I love his vision. I just totally saw it when he started talking to me about what he wanted to do with the brand. I totally I saw it. I felt it. I felt I have a term to describe the people I connect with immediately, at the creative level, and
Mhm.
I really connected with him. And I thought, I mean, I want to be part of this. And then he closed the deal by saying, answering my question. Yeah, I asked a question. Sorry, let me rewind. I asked him, why me? I have no experience in the food in the fresh produce category. I come from like fashion, retail, transportation, you name it, but I have no experience with fresh products. And he said, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone that doesn't have experience in the category but is very creative and have a very good command of the digital space and can help me do what nobody else is doing. And I
Hmm.
was 100% sold. I say, that's me. And that was it. The rest is history.
So, okay, I have so many questions. Like, my mind is just racing on this. My first question is, who's paying the bills for avocado from Mexico? Like, is it? I'm just curious of like, because you'd go in a company and you're marketing. Is it one big avocado company? Is it a conglomerate of avocado guys that all come together and pool their money to promote the brand? Like, I know nothing about this, and I'm just like trying to wrap my head on like, who you're promoting avocados, obviously, like, but it's not like avocados are, there's so many people that make them and do it, or maybe there's not. Maybe there's just like one mega guy doing avocados. Like, how does that work? I'm so confused.
Yeah, no, actually, it's a Chekhov program of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. There's many Chekhov programs. You have like mango, potatoes. I mean, and avocados is one of those Chekhov programs. So it's
Okay.
actually 30,000 or more than 30,000 growers in Mexico came together and just under this export program, and their hard work is what supports the avocados industry
Wow.
here.
So they come together kind of almost like a union or an affiliation to say,
Organization.
let's make this the thing. That's amazing.
Right.
So I'm I'm from the 80s. I was born in the 80s, and I remember the California raisins. That was like a big memory for me growing up. Is the raisin group was like personifying raisins, and there were these musical artists of these claymation raisins that would be performing. So I think growing up, we see it all the time, especially in the United States, is like you see it and you feel it. But like to know that there's people behind it and like marketing experts, and you're doing campaigns and you're coming up with creative ideas. I think most people don't realize that that's a thing in food market. And so how much can you do with avocados? Like what you did it for, 8 years plus,
I
9 years almost.
yeah.
What were some of the things that when you did this, you're like, I never thought I would be doing this? Like ideas, campaigns, moments during
So
that time.
I mean, you can interview them. They're still doing great things. And, pretty much, if you have, you're creative enough and you have that mentality of like brand building mentality, you can
Mhm.
build a brand pretty much with every category, which is what they are still doing, that continue to build that brand and continue to grow the success of avocados.
But like come back, was there one like did you feel like a pool of avocados or make the world's largest guacamole bowl? Or like was there any cool idea that really stood out during that time as like just a really out of the box campaign or activation that you guys did?
I mean, there's a lot. Again, you can check them out. I mean, I'm sure that there's anyone still, or many people in the organization that can just tell you all the great things that they are still doing and they are about to do. I just really, I left a year ago, so I don't lost track of what they have been doing. But I'm sure that there's a lot of creative people in the organization, and I'm sure they are, the future is still very bright for that brand and that organization.
All right. You don't want to, maybe you still got some more tricks up your sleeve you're saving. So, what did you learn about moving into an industry you had no experience for? I could imagine that it was, kind of scary at first going into this industry. You didn't have experience in food. You were obviously a marketer, you were creative, but like what was there a fear that you had to overcome, or were you just head first, let's do it?
No, look, I think that when we talk about creativity today is very different than we talk about creativity, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years ago. I think
Mhm.
that creativity today, the more of an eclectic experience you have in multiple industries, I think that is the richer is the value that we can bring, to an organization. I always was confident that I could provide what they were looking from me because it was very good articulated and explained during that interview. What Alvaro, the CEO, told me is I'm looking for someone with no experience in this
Mhm.
category that is able to come and look at this with fresh eyes. Fresh eyes means no preconceived notions of what
Mhm.
we have done. This is the way we do things here, and help him to just disrupt the market. So I went very confident that my experience in other industries, when applied to that new industry, will definitely bring a disruption. And it did. I mean, I think that off the bat, we're still seeing how that unexpected ideas, unexpected solutions really make the audiences recognize it as a unique brand that was doing
Right.
what nobody else in the category was doing. So it was a
So
good thing.
So I think like for people like us, obviously we've both been in creativity for many years. We obviously believe in it, we live it, that's what we do. We push on it, we sell it. But I see a lot of brands that are afraid to do the unexpected and afraid to be creative. And I'm just curious, like, why do you think that happens inside an organization? Because we look at the brands we love and we see all the great things they do and they're awesome and they're amazing, but yet some businesses and some organizations won't do that for themselves. And I'm curious if you think about why that might be. Like what creates that fear of creative and the unexpected?
I love that question. Actually, I just published a book about creativity, and one of the things here, can I just do an
Yeah, yeah. And we'll link to it in our show notes so that
yes,
everyone can check it out.
right. And I have to research, reflect, and think really hard to come up with substance, really valuable reflections about that question that you're asking. And first of all, if I have one word to answer, is fear. That's the first thing that I want to tell you. But also, people, companies are shaped by people, and people have fears. It's a human condition. So, but what I have found in my research is that startups are more fearless to experiment and try new things, and just take new approaches that eventually lead to that disruption. But actually, you see like startups that are looking for funding, they need to be innovative, because what investors are looking for is a company that demonstrates that they are able to solve hard problems in unique, new ways, in ways that nobody else has done it before. That's what gives them the differentiation, and that's what is very appealing for investors. However, as companies grow, they have more to lose. And now the priorities change. Now it's not so much innovation as it is profit. And you don't want to shake the boat. You want to go more safer. So the innovation drive slows down. I mean, that's normal. That's normal behavior of companies. But also, like I was saying before, as humans, we have fear. When you look at the research, you see that, such a large percentage of people say that the biggest barrier for them to innovate within a company is fear of being criticized, fear of even losing their jobs, etc. Bigger fear for entrepreneurs is they would like to innovate more, but they have fear to go to that. And so when you look at all the common denominator is fear. As human beings, we always have fear to what others may think of our ideas. And that really affects us all in every role that we play as an individuals, as a creative people, as a company leaders. So it's unfortunate, because when we conquer that, and the companies that are able to conquer that fear are the ones that disrupt and succeed. After all, it is so wonderful to be one of a kind. I mean, there's only one of us. Imagine how wonderful is that. But we also look for the validation in the example of others. If that company succeed doing this, well, then, I have less, I minimize my risk if I do what they are doing. And that's the lack of originality, where it comes from. And we see that manifested in so many ways.
So, Ivonne, you're human. You have feelings, you have emotions, you've had fear. How have you gotten through fear inside of your career?
Of course I do, but you know what? How do you conquer fear? By doing it anyways. So I have fear every day. I mean, like any other person, I have fear in decisions that I have made professionally. I just do it anyways. I listen to my gut a lot. I think that intuition, as I always write in my book, is just a combination of experiences that you have in the back of your mind. So what your mind is telling you with your intuition is, even though I cannot point out exactly when or where I had a similar experience in my past, and my knowledge is and experience is telling me that this is the right way to go, right? That's why as we get older, we get wiser, and our intuition gets stronger. But what I do is, I just do it anyway. And we're talking about this modest thing about experimenting with new content. This is something that I don't see anyone, whether as a brand or as an individual, posting or saying about, or this is not a style that I see. What if nobody liked it? Oh, well, I mean, you're never going to know if you just don't go. So you suck up your fear and just do it. And then you realize that most times it was worth it, the risk.
It's almost like fear is from our brain, keeping us alive, right? From, instincts and everything. But our intuition and I might get a little, out there in this, is from God, from ancient wisdom, from wherever. And that's guiding us. And those two things collide all the time. Our intuition, our ideas, our inspiration, that's from some other source. We're still trying to figure out where.
Yeah.
And then it hits up to your brain to say, warning, this is scary, don't do it. But if we can listen to the insides, not the brain, then that
Yeah.
I can't think of a single time I've listened to my intuition and been like, boy, I regret that. But I
Right.
can
Right.
listen. When I've listened to the fear, I always regret it.
Yeah, totally. And what you have to say to that voice is, I'm listening. Yes, I feel the fear. I'm just going to do it anyways, but I'm listening. I'm going to do it cautiously, but I'm just going for it and just go.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
not, we get paralyzed. And again, it happens with brands, with companies, with people. And really what moves the world and the industries and our brands and ourselves forward is just like overcoming that and just going for it.
I love it. I love it. So you held up this amazing, huge book, which I'm super jealous of the design and branding already. With your book, Think. Tell us about where did this idea come from for you? Because to me, this is just about the most big concept title possible. Think. But clearly, you had a message. Clearly, you wanted to drive a message to a larger audience that you can share and share and share. So yeah, tell us about this book, because I know it's
Yeah.
something that you're very passionate about.
Yeah, yeah, I say if I wouldn't have chosen the marketing profession or if I would have lived in a different time, I would have loved to be a philosopher. I love to reflect on things and I love to understand the meaning of things and I love to understand things too at a depth that is not obvious. So I could say I'm a thinker. And one of the topics that I'm very passionate about and that I have exercised a lot, my time with Avocado from Mexico, you love to talk about avocados, really fuel that, I will say, passion that I have. So and I also was leading the innovation agenda for the organization. So I thought a lot about all these concepts of creativity and I ask myself questions and reflect upon, is everybody creative or it's just something that we learn or something that some people will learn or what is that coming from? I mean, so many questions. And then the pandemic came and I started just writing my reflections and then the pandemic came and I didn't have to commute to the office, so I have time to take a walk in around a lake that is by my house. I don't know if you know, but nature really accelerate your creating juices.
Mhm.
And during those walks in the morning, I was just my reflections kind of like multiply, and I started writing more and more in my cell phone in my notes. And at some point, I look at Karin and say, I have so many good stuff here. So those reflections that you capture in one moment of deep thinking that may not repeat, with that specific topic. So I start writing and then I decided I'm going to write, this book. And then I start researching more and learning more about it. And I touch all these topics that we're talking about right now. Fear, to be creative. What is stopping us from express or, most valuable creative self and all
Right.
that kind of things.
Was there like this meta moment where you're writing about fear, you're writing about creativity, but then you're like, yikes, this book is scary. Like, what if I don't finish it? What if no one reads it? Like, was there a moment of fear inside that process itself?
I think for some reason, I don't know why, I was so empowered to be
Right.
me and to put out there what I think. That's what I think
Right.
that is, and I think is kind of a rebellious name, because it's so generic. Actually, I have someone who told me, think, that's not a name for a book. I mean, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, it's the name of my book. It's
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So I was so empowered and my thought was, I'm not doing this to become rich out of a book. I don't care if nobody's read it. I'm going to write what I want to write, and the right people, my tribe, how I call them, will find it and will like it, but I'm not going to compromise. This is my project. This is my thing. You compromise a lot of things when you work in groups or for companies or in companies. So this was my chance to put out there what was my thoughts, and there was
Right.
no one in the world able to just make me change that. Actually, from day one, when I decided I'm going to write a book, I saw it. I'm a marketer, right? So I wanted a product. So it
Yeah.
has to be a spectacular product. It's going to be a coffee table. It's going to be black. It's
Great quality paper, good
right.
binding,
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
I just saw it, and that vision stayed for 3 years.
Mhm.
And the vision the product that I deliver was the vision that I had like throughout the time that I was writing. Never wavered.
I love it. You said something that really, I think, can sum up great creative ideas is I created this because it's what I saw. It was my vision, and it was going to just attract the right people. Like it was going to bring the right people to it. And I think about successes I've had, brands that I admire, people and campaigns and products. I think that holds true for most of those. It's like, I'm going to do this because this is what I believe in. And you know what? Whoever that connects with, that's who I want to be surrounded by.
Yeah.
That's who I want to buy my product. That's who I want to buy my service or whatever it is. It's a great
Yes.
filtering to keep like jerks and bad people out, right? Because
Totally.
that allows them to have, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
There's millions. Better is a subjective concept, right? But let's use it. There's millions of books that are better than mine, but there's no other book that is like mine because there's
Mm,
no other mine like mine. So there's only
mhm.
one of me, and that the world is so big that when you put something so unique out there, I mean, I don't need 6 billion people to like it, I just need a few thousand, and that's for
Right.
sure they are there. So it's my job as a marketer to, bring it to them. And the purpose of the book also was to motivate and to engage and encourage people to live their best creative selves without restrictions or fears. So if I can help 1, 2, 3 people, I did my job.
I love it. So Yvonne, you're an author, international speaker, national award winner, the number one avocado marketing expert I've ever met in my entire life. But the thing about being a creative is there's always something else. You're always working and creating and growing. So as we kind of wrap up today, like what's your next big site? What do you see for you? What are you driving to, working on, excited about, that's really inspiring you and pushing you through all that fear today?
Yeah, there's so many things. Actually, I have one surprise for you too, and it
Oh,
has
yeah.
nothing to do with you, but it has something to do with.
Oh, okay.
So, what I'm a grower, but I'm also hunt for trends.
Mhm.
I like to look at my environment and the signals of today, whether it's in technology, in culture. So actually, I challenge myself to see the signals before they become obvious so I can some sort of predict what is coming
Mhm.
next and then go and tap into that. So I'll tell you a story. You're going to be surprised. I was invited to a conference that I totally recommend for you. It's right in your alley. That is Creative South. Have you been there?
Okay. No, I
So
haven't.
they invited me to speak about creativity, and I didn't know the details of the conference. I saw where it looks great. It had pretty big crowds attending, so I went and speak, thinking that I was going to give them. Well, I did by giving them, a lesson, my creativity lessons, my book. And what I found out is that I came with such a huge lesson from the audience, because guess what? It was a conference for designers, graphic
Mhm.
designers, illustrators. I never met so many illustrators and graphic designers in the same place. And I'm there presenting my artificial intelligence projects that I did. Actually, I did all the images of my book with are all like AI generated images. So as I'm giving that information and I'm getting their information, something happened in me when I listen to them speaking and presenting their crafts and their art. And I say like, it was an aha moment that told me the human art is irreplaceable. There's no amount of advanced AI that can replace the ingenuity and the creativity and the art of the craft of these people. And that was a long time ago before you invited me to this interview. And then I came so fired up and so motivated that I'm starting a design by subscription company.
I love it.
And I also have the website is almost ready. The business plan is almost ready. And then when I look at your interview, I say, I hope he doesn't think that I copy him. But yes, you serve as a great example. When you are on your own and you have the ability to thought those like special moments that fire you and you have the opportunity to do something about it, I think that's priceless. And I always say the hardest company is the first one that you build.
Right.
That's the hardest one because it's a new job. You have no idea. You're winging it. And, if you're lucky, you get out with something. But the first one feeds the second one and the second one feeds the third one. So it's a very exciting journey.
Well, I can't wait to cheer you on, and I think for me, it's such a huge world and such a huge space, and there's so many opportunities and angles, and the only thing that we've discussed many times with this episode that really is the thing that will hold us back isn't a competitor, isn't another brand, isn't this, it's ourselves, fear. And so I just thank you so much for this conversation today, because I think we covered some deep stuff. And Ivonne, before we go, where can people connect with you, follow you? What's the best place for them to learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah, my platform, I use all the platforms. I have one in TikTok that is called Creative Activism. And everywhere else on Instagram and LinkedIn, I'm Ivonne Kinser. But my platform, the one I use the most, my favorite actually is LinkedIn. So in LinkedIn is Ivonne Kinser. There's only one of me. So happy to connect with everyone.
Awesome. Well, everyone, another incredible deep dive. Never know where it's going to go. And it was such a cool surprise for Ivonne to know her deep connections to design pickle history that she wasn't even aware of. For all the links, all the notes, check out Ivonne's projects, her book, and to connect with her, you could go to jarofgenius.com, where we'll have that every week, as well as past episodes and ability to subscribe. Ivonne, thank you so much for time today, and best of luck. I hope we can do like a part 2 at some point later on to kind of like hear how things have been going.
Yeah. And that's not the only thing. That's one project. I'm launching a fast.
Well, this is a short podcast. Unfortunately, we don't have 2 hours.
Yeah. Don't think that I'm just leaving everything else to go after your industry.
No, it's so great to connect after all this time. And thanks again. I appreciate it.
I'm so proud of you doing so great. I'm very proud of you, honestly.
All right, then. Well, thanks again, everyone. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and talk soon. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Jar of Genius, sponsored by Design Pickle. To learn more about the topics discussed, get access to any of the links mentioned, and submit ideas for future seasons, head over to jarofgenius.com. Now, if you enjoyed the show, you know the drill. A solid rating on your favorite podcast platform helps others find what we are creating and join the conversation. We'll see you next time, and never forget, creativity is your secret strategic weapon.